Why is it that something that seems so obvious to some of us seems to be totally incomprehensible to others? I refer to those who believe that it is their right to hold our cetacean neighbors captive, while I believe that we have no such right, that in fact it is morally wrong for us to do so. Those who argue for a continuation of this captivity, whether they obtain their captives through the despicable practice of wild capture or through the breeding and interbreeding of captured-born cetaceans, fail to acknowledge that in either case they are imposing a lifestyle so far removed from that which is the cetacean's genetically designed lifestyle as to, in reality, be attempting to create an entirely new subservient group of cetaceans. How else to explain that they see no wrong in holding the cetacean captive in concrete tanks, or at best, in SeaWorld's proposed sea pen, despite the current knowledge that they will still be providing, even in the largest sea pen, but a small fraction of the volume of water in which the free cetacean will travel during any given 24-hour period, keeping those majestic, beautiful, intelligent, social creatures either isolated totally or mixed together without regard for place of origin or culture. No longer can they be the predator which their genetic evolution made them. They are forced to become beggars, or if you don't like that term, street buskers. In either case, their diet is made up of dead fish being tossed to them. As to intelligence and other traits which they possess, those traits which we used to, and some still do, claim as being the traits which we alone hold and held, and which raise us above all other animals. Consider this. The cetacean came into their current recognizable form some 20 to 25 millions of years ago. We, Homo sapien, came into existence in our present form a mere 400,000 years ago. Why then is it not reasonable to believe that they may well possess an intelligence equal to or exceeding ours? Why do we feel that we are their superior? The answer, in my opinion, is that we don't have that right. That those who do make that assertion do it as a result of what amounts to be a combination of hand-me-down claims from our forefathers, a kindergarten level of scientific knowledge, which may have risen to the grade 1 level in the last 40, 50 years, and most importantly for so many, the teachings of various religions which are stuck in the rut of a belief that we were given dominion over all other creatures on earth. Now that the scientific world has, for the most part, accepted that intelligent life, in all probability, does exist elsewhere in the universe, what now is the position of those religions? And is it possible that we may already have met that extraterrestrial creature, and that this creature is our cetacean neighbor? I don't argue the fact that it would be wrong for those cetaceans who were born into captivity to be taken out and released into the wild. For them, huge sea pens may well be the only answer. I don't argue the fact that it would be wrong to simply take our wild-born cetaceans and dump them back into the wild without first providing them with a highly structured release program, including several, perhaps many stages before the final release can be made. Some may never reach that final stage, and for them, sea penning may be the only answer. I do argue that there is ample evidence to indicate that cetaceans, such as Lolita, should be given, and in her case sooner rather than later, and by sooner I mean in the next few months, an opportunity to reunite with her family, which consists of her mother, presumed mother, ocean son, some 86 years of age, along with other siblings and family members who frequent Kanaka Bay in Puget Sound. I do argue that the continuance of enterprises who rely upon cetacean captivity should be discouraged through a ban on breeding programs which are clearly designed for the sole purpose of restocking those dolphinariums whose inventory of captive dolphins is constantly being depleted due to the premature deaths of their current inventory. I also argue that the current dolphinariums can be phased out due to a lack of inventory and or lack of persons willing to buy tickets to their shows. I further argue that there should be an immediate ban on awarding permits for the opening of any new dolphinariums or any such enterprise whose income is derived from shows or swim-with programs involving captive cetaceans. Our society has the knowledge, the skills, and the intellectual ability to develop the means by which, through various 2-3-dimensional, holographic, interactive audio-visual material, we can entertain and educate our fellow humans in a manner that will far exceed in all respects any existing programs which currently rely upon captive cetaceans. Just as the photographic capture of life has almost been totally replaced the trophy hunts which were carried out by our fathers and forefathers, so should the enterprises which rely upon the imprisonment of cetaceans for our pleasure be replaced by enterprises which rely upon digital audio-visual depictions of those cetaceans. With this in mind, I invite you to watch a brief video which was inspired by the Free Lolita March and also contains some material from that march on January 17th this year. It also includes a further visual effort on my part to open the eyes of at least some who still feel it okay to hold cetaceans captive. And while there may be some inference as to the identity of the unwitting human participant in my video, that identity is a fictional one arising out of my imagination, albeit possibly born of material which I have read or seen. Free Lolita! Free Lolita! Free Lolita! Free Lolita!